I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is an open meeting of the Seward, Nebraska governing body. The city of Seward abides by the Nebraska Open Meetings Act in conducting business. A copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is displayed on the north wall of this meeting room facility as required. Disclosure of meeting recording processes is posted in the meeting room. The participant sign-in sheet is available for use by any citizen addressing the council. Presenters shall approach the podium, state their name and address for the clerk's record, and are asked to limit remarks to 5 minutes. All remarks shall be directed to the mayor, who shall determine by whom any appropriate response shall be made. The city of Seward reserves the right to adjust the order of items on this agenda if necessary, and may elect to take action on any of the items listed. Please call the roll.
Wilkin.
Present.
Beth. Here. Canford. Fritz.
Here.
Pike.
Here.
Singleton.
Here.
Schmidt.
Here.
Hens.
Here.
First item is the consideration of approval of draft minutes of August 4th, 2015.
Move approval?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
All in favor, Wilkin. Beth. Fritz. Pike. Singleton. Schmidt. Motion carried.
All right, item number 2, consideration of consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
All in favor, Wilkin. Beth. Fritz. Pike. Singleton. Schmidt. Hens. Motion carried.
All right. Item number 3, consideration of naming the pathway between Parade of Flags and the Plum Creek Trail, the Don and Barb Seward Flag Pathway, at the request of Seward Kiwanis Organization, and Mark Taylor is here to present on that. And just to clarify, we have, since this agenda went out, we have talked with Don and Barb about this, and the exact language we're still working out, so it might be a little bit different than what we had here. But the point of this agenda item was simply to, at the request of Marv and Kiwanis, to name that stretch of sidewalk which would have the territorial flags. But Marv, if you wanted to come up and give a little presentation, or just, yeah, if you can for us.
Yes, I'm Mark Taylor, 435 Church Street in Seward. I represent the Seward Kiwanis Foundation, and I'm the chair of the Seward Parade of Flags project. The pathway between the Plum Creek Trail and the Parade of Flags has been completed. I'm requesting approval from the council to name the pathway the Don and Barbara Seward Flag Pathway. The pathway sign will also name the territory flags that have been located along the way. The Sewards are very generous people and help me financially at all stages of this building progress. The project would not have been completed without the support of the Sewards.
Thanks, Marv. Any questions from the council?
I move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Voting in favor, Wilkin. Beth. Fritz. Pike. Singleton. Schmidt. Hens. Motion carried.
Thanks, Marv. All right, item number 4, consideration of a request by the Seward Kiwanis Organization to install a new water line to the Parade of Flags. And Marv, did you take that? You want to take that?
Yeah, let me just take that, I guess.
Okay.
They've been wanting water across there, and there is no water on that side that's very close at all. And so, Tim Rickdig, the water superintendent, the closest that we can find, the least expensive way is to bring it underneath 14 and so straight across into the Parade of Flag. And he did get a price on it for boring and installation, and it's $4,500. And we've got the money in this year's budget to do that project before the end of the fiscal year.
Did we think about Broden maybe for a well there, with it being so close to water and everything? Did we think about that?
No, we didn't. Just because the price wasn't that much. so we thought it'd be more to do a well.
Because, you know, just in mine that I did was 4,500. And then, you know, then it's, the cost is, you gonna say it's a one-time? I only have to pay for electricity? I mean, I'm just,
I don't know. John, what do you think?
We can look at it.
I mean, Piper's did mine, mine's 45 dB, $4,500.
What to do, something with pressure tank and all.
You want to have pressure? Just pump.
Well, I guess what I'd ask for is approval and then let us work on if there's a well, say, you know, approve it up to like $5,000. If we get a well for cheaper, then we'll do it that way. Otherwise, we'll just go ahead and do the project.
Yeah, I just make the motion that, look at both avenues and which is the best or cheapest
Okay.
route to go.
Yeah, that's fine.
Cause it's so low, water table's so
Yeah.
low that.
No, it makes sense.
I'll second that.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
In favor of the motion, Wolfenbeck, Fritz, Pike, Seward, and Short motion carried.
Okay, thank you.
So we'll get that for you.
We'll get you water somehow.
I would like to publicly thank the city council and the recreation people for the agreement that they made to provide maintenance at the Parade of Flags. It has just been outstanding. The way the mowing has progressed, the way the dirt has been put up against the sidewalks when they're put in, I really appreciate the support we've had on this project. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. All right, item number 5, this is consideration and request of Seward Memorial Healthcare Systems for off-street parking on East Roberts. John Hughes?
Yeah. This is for an area that is to the east of Columbia, about 200 feet down. There used to be 3 houses there. 2 of the houses got moved, one of the houses got moved down to 10th Street and Roberts. The other house got taken down completely. And then they're putting in an additional parking area. And what they would like to do is go from that driveway of that parking area down to, they also own Dick Myers' old house. And they'd like to make that off-street parking about 8 more stalls in front of that. There's, currently there's an empty lot there, and then I'm not sure what they're gonna do with Dick's, but I think that house is gonna go as well. So for future plans, they'd like to have additional off-street.
Are there any concerns with doing this?
No.
Okay. Does the council have any questions or comments?
Well, there's already people parking in there, so.
I suspect that's gonna be the direction the hospital's gonna take for all of their new facilities, cause they're just buying up all the houses down Robert Street, so that's the only avenue for expansion they've got, so it would fit in with their plans as well as our plans.
Okay.
Did they consider, John, on that, because I think that when we pull in there now with the squads, we're gonna be coming in there too, though, so we're gonna have to consider that, because we're backing in on the east side.
Oh, we got a much bigger,
Yeah,
this is further down.
it's even further, yeah, okay.
Any other questions or comments? Otherwise, I entertain a motion.
I'll move for approval.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
In favor, Wolfenbeck, Fritz, Pike, Seward, and Short motion carried.
Okay. Item number 6, this is a follow-up on the cost of installing pedestrian activated illuminated lighting at the crosswalk between Jackson Avenue and Bradford Street. And this was, per Councilmember Campus' request. Bruce, did you wanna update on that?
Yeah, at the June 16th meeting, you approved the plan for providing extra lighting, reflective signage and relocation of the crosswalk on North Columbia for the hospital for their expansion and projects. And Councilmember Camperth asked about a lighted sign that would like flash for crossings. And I had Mel do some checking on that, and he found the cost for a solar flashing sign was $14.95 each, or $2,980 for the 2 signs. The standard diamond grade, which is basically the top of the line that we get for everything, is $84.51 each, $169.02. I did talk to Roger at the hospital, and he said he's fine with using the standard signs. He thinks that that'd be the best thing anyway. And then if people all of a sudden quit watching, then maybe we can do the lighted ones later, but for right now, he's fine with it.
Barb?
You're talking about doing, city light above the signs to make it,
Well, there's gonna be
Is that-
more,
is that gonna
there's
be-
gonna be more lighting and stuff in through there,
that's
a
gonna
lot
be
more.
for sure.
Mhm.
And it'll be the LED lighting, correct? Just tends to be a little wider and a little crisper.
Okay.
Larry was gonna put, you said a taller pole and light it above the street. so that it
35
lights
foot
that
pole with
area.
an 8 foot arm and a 400 watt type LED light.
That would light the
Should light it up pretty
whole
well.
block there. pretty good.
And I'm sure after they get going and they gauge the amount of pedestrian traffic, if there's a concern, either we would recognize or the hospital would probably come to us and say, with a recommendation of changing it, but at least for right now, they seem okay with this proposal. Does the council have any other questions or
I was just gonna say, for the
comments?
rounding $200 to put up the diamond grade, if we have to change it out, it's $200 well spent.
Any other questions or comments? Otherwise, I entertain them. I guess, do I need a motion on this? Not really?
So,
Unless you wanted us to go away from what we would normally use, which would be the diamond sign. So, I guess if you wanted to go with the illuminated signs, then I would ask for a motion to do that, otherwise we'd fall back on what we would normally do. So, I'm not seeing anyone making that motion. Okay, then we'll just move on then. To item number 7. Consideration for approval of Robert Street area distribution line upgrades. I believe we have, OA here this evening to present.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm Garrett Klein with Olson Associates, and we're presenting the bidding documents for the Robert Street area distribution upgrades and recommending that it be advertised for competitive bids. The project includes rebuild of the circuit along Robert Street on the south side of Robert Street from 10th to Lindell. As a double circuit spacer cable, we'll have one circuit that's 4 kV and one that's 12 kV. Part of the project's purpose is to rebuild an older line, but then also that particular line serves as a backbone to the 4 kV system. And with the new 14th Street substation and the intent to retire some of that system, it'll have both circuits so that taps and all these connected loads can be eventually transferred. Basically piecemeal. The other pieces of the project are getting from the new substation up to there, and we incorporated whatever upgrades we could to get the most bang for the buck, I guess, along those line routes. The estimated cost of the project is $425,000. That doesn't include poles that the intent is for the city to purchase those directly. Those are expected to be about $35,000. So we're seeking council's approval to advertise it for competitive bids. We've selected some dates that would start next Wednesday in the paper, advertise 3 consecutive weeks, and open bids approximately 4 weeks thereafter.
Alright, thanks Garrett. Any questions or comments for Garrett from the council? I assume we need to do each line separately, Kelly?
Sure,
Okay,
that'd be the best.
alright. So I guess, unless there are any other questions or comments for Garrett, we'd start with item 7A, which is the acceptance and approval of bidding documents.
Move for approval.
second,
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
In favor, looking back, Kurt Spike, Singleton, Hans, motion carried.
Alright, item B is acceptance of proposed advertisement dates of August 26, 2015, or establishment of dates.
So moved.
second,
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
In favor, looking back, Kurt Spike, Singleton, Hans, motion carried.
Item C, acceptance of proposed bid opening date of September 24th, 2015, 2 p.m., City of Seward, 537 Main Street, Seward, Nebraska, or establishment of bid opening date, time, and place.
second,
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
In favor of the motion, looking back,
Item D, acceptance and approval of publication of advertisement on August 26th, September 2nd, and September 9th, 2015 in the Seward Independent.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Very much welcome back. That's motion carries.
Alright, thanks Gary.
Alright, thank you.
That wasn't too painful. Alright, item A, consideration of awarding bid for bucket truck to Altech Highline LLC in the amount of $218,189. And Larry Ruther is here to answer any questions, or if you'd like to say something.
The truck we replacing is 96 models. Needs to be replaced.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
What was the dollar figure? Oh, there it is, okay, got it.
I'd move for approval. Go ahead and accept the bucket truck to, it's Altech Highline, is that what it is? LLC, for an amount of $218,190. $218,189.
Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Welcome back. Fritz Pike, zero shared hands, motion carries.
Item number 9 is acknowledge receipt of Airport Authority resolution requesting levy authority. Bruce, did you wanna?
Yeah, I mean, you just.
Pretty self-explanatory.
It is self-explanatory. The airport authority is asking for your approval of their levy for this year, and so we just need your approval.
The numbers in the resolution were based on our estimate of valuation. Since then, we've got the actual numbers, so they will be slightly different than what's in the resolution. And the resolution says it's a preliminary, so,
But this just requires a motion on our part.
yes.
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
And very much welcome back. Fritz Pike, zero shared hands, motion carries.
Item number 10, 2015-2016 budget discussion. We've had a couple of opportunities for council members to be briefed on the budget, but we want to give you that opportunity to ask any questions or any follow-up questions you may have, or any discussions you'd like to have. Yes, John?
I just have a question is, like for the cemetery, mini excavator, is that a backhoe?
It's just a small excavator, it's on tracks.
It's a
and-
track mounted
Right.
excavator
With the arm?
with
Mhm.
an arm, yeah, and then we got an auger extension for building through the ground during the
For
process
us.
times. And it's been working real well.
Okay.
It's a lease.
Yes. And that's gonna be a shared service, right? So the street department needs to use it or whatever. it's-
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
We all work for the city.
God,
We all work for the city.
Ellen?
Bruce, what are we saving taking out the intern position or positions?
I think there was only one that was budgeted last year, it was about $8,000.
Is it possible to put that back in?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Concordia, it's a big deal.
Well, we had one this spring, well, in June, according to Bonnie, because I wasn't here yet, but, it was here 3 weeks. You can talk about it if you want to.
It was just, he needed intern hours to
Right.
graduate, and so we helped him out.
Right. Not only that, I mean, I push internships on my Seward students day and night. It's a big thing to have an internship, to get a job, to get some experience. So if we can, help out in that way and get ourselves some summer help as well, I think, possible to add that back in.
We can do that, we'll just, how many do you want?
Do we need to make it, we haven't even gotten to.
No,
motions yet,
just
so.
tell me what you're thinking, that's
But
the idea.
If we had one, just keep it back in.
Okay, alright.
John, do you want to add something?
yeah, then the dog fence, where are we putting that? That was something that we discussed as a council, it got denied where we were gonna put it, so where are we putting this dog fence?
I don't know.
Well, it's on Seward Street is where the last discussion was, I guess, and obviously I haven't been involved in those either.
On Seward Street, I'm not sure why it got denied. We do have quite a bit of property down there that we picked up on the FEMA floodplain buyout.
I know, it was a council agenda item that got denied, and that's why I was just wondering how that got in there without coming through the council again,
I'm not sure.
if we're putting it out there on East Seward Street.
Is that in the budget?
Yeah, I'm not seeing that sheet.
Yeah, there was
Parks-
fencing.
Park and Rec.
I'm looking at recreation.
Is that the recreation?
Oh, dog park fence for
Mhm.
$5,000.
Like I said, it was a council time and we did deny it.
Did they raise a bunch of money for that or something like that, for a dog park?
I know they were.
They were gonna use the fencing from the middle school pool, is what originally what it was, and I don't, honestly, my memory doesn't tell me how that ended. And I cannot remember the gal's name who was here updating us all the time.
We currently do have money that she's turned over some, we have some cash, and I guess there's some in a bank account that she has, but I can't tell you the dollar amount. I don't know that it's $5,000.
But what you're saying is the council denied a dog park, so.
Yeah, we did before. There was controversy both ways. Might be something that needs to be revisited.
What we can do is we can, for right now, we can pull it out, and then when we present when we present the budget back to the council here, we can just make a list of some of these items, and then you can decide if you wanna put stuff back in or take stuff out. But I don't imagine, I mean, other than,
I'd rather leave it in, honestly, Mayor. If you think there's a chance that we might do it, I'd rather leave it in now, because
Well, I
once
don't
we get to
know.
that budget part, well,
okay.
I think it needs to be revisited with us again because we had controversy both ways.
Well, the other thing too is, I mean, we can always leave it in with the caveat that it would not be done without council
Oh, yeah.
approval. And that way, you'd have a final say if we got to that point.
And if we have.
It's, I mean, it's on the CIP budget, you know, and I'm gonna be a flip-flopper here, because I've always been one that it's CIP, it's a placeholder, just put it in there. But the problem you run into with especially these smaller items, when you dump things in as just a placeholder, it's taken as an open checkbook, I can do it because it was in CIP, so we had it in there. So, I mean, it's almost, like I said, I'm a flip-flopper, because I was, like, it's just a placeholder is how I've always addressed it. You know, but if everything on this CIP budget is gonna be, well, it's an open checkbook, you approved it, I can spend it.
But I don't think that's how we're approaching
Well,
this.
you just said if you wanted to come back to the council, then we can make that a caveat. That's saying that you would spend this without coming back to the council.
No, what I'm saying is rather than having the discussion now, or between now and the budget's approved, I was saying we could leave it in there, but we would not take any action on it until we came back for council approval.
Action on what, the budget or the fence?
On the fence.
Well, that's what I'm saying, if you're gonna throw the caveat that you don't take action unless you come for council approval. I mean, I'm looking at this, some of this CIP stuff right now, and I'm like, really, this is a CIP thing? Wood mulch?
And that's something that we're trying to clean up, but we just don't have time right now.
yeah, next year, a lot of that stuff is gonna be in maintenance where it belongs, but just this year, we're trying to do 4 months worth of budget in 6 weeks, and so a lot of this stuff, we just haven't had a chance to really sit down and discuss it and move it where it needs to be, but it's gonna be changed next year.
There is a line item in the budget for each of these departments, if you look under Park and Rec, it's the fixed asset, so everything listed here is as if we were paying cash for on the line item called fixed assets.
I'm kinda with Bruce, you know, with the dog fence, if this was something that was going to be pushed, it should have been brought up when we were doing discussion. And nobody was here to support it. And that's why we asked all the heads to be here to go, when we went through it line by line, then there was nobody that even, you know, brought it up for discussion.
Would it help if behind that particular item we put following additional discussion or separate council approval, or you just want it out of there?
I think, it'd be my opinion is it goes out till next year, and this, if they want it, then the next year's budget, then they come and support it. I would pull it.
Do you wanna take motions on, do you take motions on these, Kelly, or how do you wanna handle this?
I don't think you need to.
Okay.
That's just what the council thinks. I mean, everybody
If
has.
that's a consensus of the council.
Yeah, if anybody's
yes.
against it, say, no, I wanna leave it in,
I
but,
think this is just a time period for discussion.
Yeah,
We're
okay.
voting on the budget, so.
Okay. Any other discussion on that item or any other items?
I'm gonna be Debbie Downer, or Cruel Chris, however you wanna call me. Our 5% wage, what'd you say? Debbie. Our 5% wage increase. Again, based off of rates of inflation, private sector increases. I mean, last year we started at 6 and we ended at 3.4 or whatever it was. I don't remember. I don't know if you guys remember what it was. So, I mean, 5%, I would love to receive a 5% in my 15 years now. I've been at my place of employment. Don't ever remember a 5% increase. Maybe I'm just a terrible employee. So I'm open to discussion amongst the council. I mean, I'm looking at more of a 3%, not a 5%. And that's existing employees, and I'd asked for a breakdown and haven't seen it on. Is this wages including new hires? Because I know there's a new police officer we want to bring in, there's an accountant we want to bring in. Is 5% total budgeted wages, or is it wage increase to existing employees?
I do have those breakdowns, by the way. The 5% that we put in, basically what happens, and again, I'm new, but this is just from my discussions with Bonnie and everybody else, is you vote on if there's gonna be a cost of living. Would start in December, right, Bonnie? And so that would just be a cost of living increase, and so,
2.5 is pretty standard
Right.
in this area for cost of living.
and so that's the way, so then you would vote on that. And then the way it's set up is that there's a wage scale then, and so, each person then would, each year, have a chance to go to the next level. And we've got 9 steps. Right now, we've got 33 employees at the 9th step, so they're at the top of the wage scale is what it is. And that, basically, that means they've been here 10 years.
So you're saying that if they're at the high of their scale, then they have an opportunity to go up to 5%. If you're at the lower side of the scale, you might get 2.5.
No, it would be the 2.5.
Plus.
If they made that jump then from 3 to 4, then it would be whatever that change in their scale would be. And last year we had 49 full-time employees for that fiscal year. And this year we've got 50. And we've got 2 that have been budgeted, that are in the budget, the accountant, which was in last year, and then the new police officer, which is a new item. Total wages last year, $2,874,558. This year, $2,913,535. So the difference of $40,000.
A portion of that was, the council voted to raise the lifeguard or the pool staff to minimum wage. It was 7.25 and we went to 8. So that took up, a portion of that increase. And then the other was the council approved a 2% wage increase across the board in December.
And that was for cost of living, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so we were 2%.
So the 5%, I guess if I can add, that's, council's not authorizing a 5% increase in this budget. What that allows us to is to cover those step increases. They're not all the same. They range anywhere from 4 something, I don't have it in front of me. Or they range from 1 point something to 4 point something between steps. It's just the way, when we do comparability, the way the start and the end is, how much dollar difference in between. So they're not the same for every position, or every line.
So basically you're saying not everybody's gonna get 5%.
No.
Okay.
And council has to approve any increase as far as cost of living in December. So, you could choose, all we would have would be these step increases.
So my question would be, out of all these positions, how many do you expect to get 5%?
If all we did was step increases, there wouldn't be any 5%.
So if there would be 5%, why are we putting 5% on there?
Well, that's where my question is 5% representative of the total salary pool, or is it 5% per employee?
No,
Where
it wouldn't
we're
be 5%,
including
it'd be like a total.
positions.
Some people, if their step was big enough between 2 and 3 or 3 and 4 or whatever, they might get more than 5%. If their step was less than that, they may only get, 3.5. If you do the cost, including cost of living.
Yeah, the 5 allows, I guess, the council the flexibility, if they so choose, to add a cost of living to the step increases.
So basically, they're gonna get a cost of living plus their step.
Some
If
people
that's
yes.
what you choose.
Right.
And some people, yeah.
Right. And this, so if you get the, say, the 2.5, what's an average step gonna be?
It just ranges, like Bonnie said.
I would say majority on there, at a quick glance, is between probably 2 and 3.
Mhm. There's 2
Total.
point, yeah.
I didn't bring an Excel spreadsheet I put together, John, but I can send it to you. I took July of the 2013-14 fiscal year, when Maryland publishes it, like we have in this packet, on number of employees and pay ranges, and then placed it up against the publication from this packet. I don't remember the average increase across the whole board, but those folks who haven't been here for 10 years and are moving through the step and also getting cost of living increases, all of them were close to 6% increases. Is what they received from salary because of step and cost of living increase.
And that's public knowledge, isn't it?
Sure.
So the step increases really are like merit raise?
Yep.
They have to meet their targets.
Right, okay.
And
Based on performance.
And it's
Alright.
based on a year, so they don't get 2 steps a year or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's important to encourage merit raises, I really do. But a question going back, is there any impact on the increase in the minimum wage coming up in just January? It figured in, or does it affect us at all, or?
It will affect the library. Or you pretty much everybody over that now?
I looked and there were 2 employees that were making $8.98 or something, so
It was very
So
it's
it's not
basically
big, yeah.
no effect.
It would only be if council chose to bump up those lifeguards again to meet minimum wage, which I don't believe we have to because they're recreation.
Season.
Right.
Yeah, seasonal.
Season, less than, I think it's 4 months.
And is our number right? I mean, if you look at this packet where it lists lifeguards, 35?
I'm sure.
The number,
Number of lifeguards we have, 35?
A lot of them don't work 10 hours.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
That just
yeah,
seems
they don't work
odd.
10 hours every 2 weeks.
I'm
So you-
surprised it's not higher.
Yeah, when I signed the staff,
Say, and I
time cards.
lived at
it's a
school
lot.
when I was a kid, and I remember the same 7 lifeguards every freaking day.
Well, I think it's just changed because kids are so much busier. They got camps and all that kinds of stuff, and they got things going on all the time, so, you know.
I was
you-
just gonna say.
You've
lot of
gotta
it
have
has
a
to
ton of
do with
kids.
Getting employees in there, you got, all the kids got athletic camps that they pretty much have to go through every year.
It's a lot of work for payroll clerk.
And then getting people in there that can function on a daily basis and still look at people in the pool versus the birds flying by. So there's an attrition rate on the guards.
I would be interested in a conversation how that 6% came about.
I'm sure I am. So, I mean, it's the people who step up. So the merit raise plus cost of living raise, their step was big enough that it was 6.
I guess those, if they were close to that 4 or over that 4, that could happen with that 2% that you gave. But it wasn't for the whole year either, you know, it's.
No, but it was from July to July.
Because a lot of times they do.
What was published in the packet July 2014 versus what was published in the packet July of this year.
Yeah, 'cause a lot of them do go back and figure the whole figure merit. And, yeah, that'd be interesting to see that.
But again, I just wanna reiterate, if you approve this budget with the 5 proposed, all that is it prepares budget dollars for up to 5% in salaries.
So you don't cut yourself short.
If needed.
If, yeah, that, you're not authorizing us to give anybody 5%. You've already authorized the step plan last December as it is,
Right.
so that has been authorized.
Any other questions or comments from the council regarding the budget? If there's no other discussion or questions, I would go ahead and move to the next item. I wanna give everyone a fair warning.
Will we have a public hearing then at the next meeting?
We'd like to, but we don't know that Ryan can have the information ready to be it has to be published in the paper, you know, the hearing and stuff, and it takes, you know, and we'll get the information to Ryan, now that we feel kinda comfortable with where the council's at. And we'll get it to Ryan as quick as we can, but we don't think it can be advertised, or he can put it together fast enough for it to be advertised for the next meeting. So I would say it'll be at the 15th, and that will be the night we have to do it.
Or you'd have to have a special meeting sometime that week.
Alright,
So again, if you have questions or concerns, please get with me as soon as you can, so we can put this deal to bed.
alright, I'll move on to item number 11, this is the city administrator's report. Bruce?
The report's in your packet. Anyway, we've just been, like I said, Bonnie's been working really hard, and I, on the budget, John's been instrumental, all the department heads been working really hard on it. We're working on the rail campus project still. I did meet with the civic center board, and that was a good meeting there. Digester emergency repairs were completed, clarifiers, just different things that we've been trying to do. I don't wanna inundate you with 100 different things, but if there's any questions on any of these projects that we're working on, I'd sure answer them, or have one of my department heads answer them.
Any questions for Bruce regarding his report?
Did we receive a check for the dirt yet from Underwood? Did we get anything as far as, when you were talking about it, as far as we were getting paid?
No, and I'll talk to you about that if you want me to later.
Any other questions for Bruce? Otherwise, I entertain a motion to accept the city administrator's report.
So,
Second.
We have a motion and a second, is there any further discussion? Seeing none, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Okay, in favor of the motion, welcome back. Prince, Tyson, and motion hands, motion carries.
Alright, item number 12, strategy session for the city attorney to consider legal remedies against Southern Cross Investment LLC for breach of its CDBG loan obligation. Kelly, do you wanna take this?
Yeah, I'd suggest you hit 13 and 14 first,
Okay.
do 12 last.
Alright, moving, skip down to 13, this is a future request for council agenda items or administrative action. Seeing none, then I'll move to 14, upcoming events. I don't have anything to add. Does anyone from the council have any upcoming events they'd like to make us aware of? Seeing none, then we'll skip back up to number 12. Kelly, you're on again.
Okay, I would suggest that the council move to go into closed session for the protection of public interests and to have a strategy session with myself to consider legal remedies against Southern Cross Investments for their breach of their CDBG loan obligation for a period of 15 minutes with myself, the mayor. Would you like to be involved? The city
The
administrator.
mayor wants me in there.
Yeah, the city administrator and myself. So,
I made approval for what Kelly says.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Do you need to be restated?
yes.
By whom?
I can restate it.
Good.
So the motion is to go into closed session for the protection of public interest, to have a strategy session with the city attorney to consider legal remedies against Southern Cross Investments, LLC, for breach of its CDBG loan obligation for a period of 10 minutes with the mayor, the city
I'm sorry, did you say
administrator,
10 or 15?
excuse me, 15,
Not to exceed 15.
with the mayor, the city administrator, and the city attorney.
Okay. The motion and second, please register your votes. Please display the votes.
Okay, everyone, welcome back. Chris Pike, motion to